Hello, welcome back to the ministry. And as I'm continuing on part 3 of this particular part, so some of y'all friends, or Tyler say your God ordained spouse's friends, and for some of you and some of y'all, their friends got together. Meaning your God ordained spouse, as sweet and kind as they are, probably have been getting advice from the wrong people. Because they trying to fit in the wrong scenarios and wrong situations, because the people that they were hanging around were not godly people, even though they had an air of godliness, but there was no God up in them. And they thought because they had air of godliness, the discernment was off. They've been getting advice from these people, and these people have been leading them astray. And as God started to pull them out, these people have banded together. Stephanie P did a word a while ago as she talked about this. Your enemies are binding together to come against you. The only thing that they got is they won't come against you. That's it. So, they coming together to make sure you don't move forward. But God's taking them out because it's like, yeah, you've held this person in this season for too long. This is the lot running up the mountain because he got to go. And you're holding him up. So everybody got to go. That's come on, y'all. So, his friend dies. So he's distraught, but he ain't got time to think about that. Some things are going to happen. I guess you want me to come into that part too. There is going to be no time for you to sit up there and mourn these people in the midst of what's happening. The Lord brought me to something that Dana Ray was talking about in her word that is over. It's going to be a one and done. But in this, brought this scripture from Ezekiel 24:20 through 21, the end of 21 before you hit 22. And then I answered them. The word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Speak unto the house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will profane my sanctuary. I'm going to get into that in a minute. And the excellence of your strength, and the desires of your eyes, that which your soul pleadeth, and your son and your daughters whom ye have left shall fall by the sword. These people, they're gonna fall. His friend fell. He died. But you ain't got time. Your God ordained spouse, he ain't got time to sit up there and mourn this person. He got to keep moving. Because he still got to catch the guy that's doing this. So, ain't got time to mourn the death of these people, these relationships. Some of them, there are people that have been sitting there, and I'm going to bring this in. Everybody likes to talk about Jezebel, and I said that there was somebody else that I couldn't remember what their name was. What the person's name is, this is actually, let me see. This is actually Atheniel. This is Jezebel's daughter. Ain't nobody ever talk about Jezebel's daughter, do they? How many of y'all knew Jezebel had a daughter? Did any of y'all remember Jezebel's daughter? Anybody? Well, Jezebel's daughter actually had a season where she reigned too. Some of your God ordained spouses got out of a counterfeit relationship, thought they was free, and the enemy sent somebody just to sit in that spot. They ain't as bad as the counterfeit that was Jezebel, but they were set there just long enough. These may have been your God ordained spouse's secondary counterfeits. They ain't quite as bad as Jezzy. They ain't quite as bad as Jesse, but they bad. They sat right there. Sit right here. Because what did this woman do? Okay? This woman usurped the throne, meaning she stole it. Okay? That's what a usurp is. Reigned for 7 years. She massacred all the members of the royal house of Judah in 2 Kings 11, 1 through 3. Okay? Some of these people were literally just sent to sit there. Some of these people were sent to, as soon as your God or their spouse was in a move, I'm going to distract him. One's operating in witchcraft, the other operating in sexual whatever, the other operating in splitting spells. The other one is just the Jezebel. Everybody looking at Jezebel like, ooh, she bad. But these were Jezebel's lackeys. This is Jezebel's daughter, meaning they learned well from Jezebel. And held place very well. But God's like, nah, you going to. I'm going to come back to that. You going to. So Magyver's mad at this point. He's enraged. Some of y'all, I have to be honest with you, some of y'all was crying, whining, begging God to bring your God ordained spouse. And God was saying to you, you didn't know what was going on. But for some of you, your God ordained spouse, there were people around him that he thought were allies, that if he stripped your God ordained spouse at the time you were praying for them to be stripped, your God ordained spouse made it come out enraged, not at least with a sense of peace about it. God had to wait till he could handle the stripping of these people, handle the exposure of the truth, handle the wisdom that he was going to give them, handle it. Because if he did it when you first asked, because some of y'all been sitting months, years praying for this in relation to some of these Jezebels and in relation to the people that they've been associated with. If he did what you prayed when you asked for it, you might have got a different man that's going to come out of this situation. And that person might have been actually more like the beast in Beauty and the Beast. Because they would have been angry. Magyver was angry at the death of his friend. He finally faced the guy and they brought the guy into interrogation. God is bringing your enemies into an interrogation room. We've been talking about that. They're going to court. They're going to face the judge. They're going to face God. They're going to face the Lord. They're going to face the accusation. I talked about the couples court where the woman was literally put on trial and she still wouldn't admit what she did. These people are being brought face to face and exposed for what they've done to your God ordained spouse, to you, to all situations. All of it's being exposed now. I've been hearing exposure all over the place. It's being exposed because now it has to be, because time can't be taken away like this. So the guy is sitting there and Magyver's pissed off. He sits there. He said, I know you wanted some water, so I can't bring you some water. He's like, really? And he reaches for it and Magyver leaves it out right out of his reach. He said, you know what? And drinks the whole daggone thing. Some of you, I've heard this said before. Some people get so mad at people, and I remember I was watching Survivor years ago, and this woman said this to somebody. She said, if you were thirsty on the side of the road and needed a drink of water, and I was the only person that had a drink of water, I would not give it to you. And this is what Magyver did to this guy. He took that water and he drank it himself. And the guy was like, huh. But what ends up happening is this Satan person, remember, Satan hates Christians. So he's explaining why he hates the Christians. He pretty much, your enemies will explain why they hate you, why they hate your God ordained spouse. They're going to express. It's like now they've been caught. They're like, remember when a narcissist gets caught and he's no longer has the ability to do what he gonna have his final attack. He gonna do his final attack. But in him doing his final attack, he gonna say, I hated you this whole daggone time. He gonna admit. And this is the thing that is happening to some of you God ordained spouses. This is what took so long. Because God said, if I had brought out all the people that hated your God ordained spouse and let them truly do what they were going to do, meaning say what they could say to him, say what they were, to spit in his face the way that they are doing now, oh, he wouldn't come out of that a nice person. He might have come out actually quite very different. I needed to deal with him, his heart, his emotions, deal with him, get him in a good space. Because once I was done with dealing with him in that good space and got him to a point that the triggers have been deactivated, because that's what this guy was doing. He was literally telling him, oh, no. I'm telling you this story because you know that feeling you got right now, that rage up in there. You feel rage, don't you? That's what I felt. Because he wants to turn him into him. These people wanted to turn your God ordained spouse into them. So as a last ditch effort, even when they know they got caught, they decided to spit in your God ordained spouse's face by telling them, oh yeah, I know you're mad. I know you're mad. I'm telling you now. Because maybe this last little bit of information will turn you. Because I know the pressure has been hard. And I know you're angry right now. Prophetic Poetry did a word a while back called Black Widow and something. And in it, she said that these people, and she was talking about the counterfeit dough, but some of the counterfeits, not just the counterfeit woman, it's the counterfeit of people. Like this, the guy that committed suicide, that was his friend. Apathola, I don't know how to pronounce it. I forgot. But for David, some of these people was just sitting up there and they were like, can I provoke him into anger? Can I provoke him into anger? Because some of them are like, hey, no way this man is this nice. Ain't no way. For some of y'all, they've been looking at you saying, ain't no way she this nice. There gotta be some evil up under there. And they've been pressing and trying. And it's like, he won't budge. Are you mad enough yet? Still no. Now they done exposed their hand and they're like, and still you won't get angry? I know you feel it. Do you feel the anger? And Magyver felt the anger. So when the guy realized that his plan wasn't working, he said, okay. So what he does is he pops out his tooth. You think that because I know he wasn't crying. And sometimes the enemy, they'll do that. He'll fake cry. And you're like, nah, I know. And I'm sure Magyver almost for a moment got in a mode like, oh, he fake crying. He crying now. Nah. He was reaching into his mouth to pull the fake tooth out that had a gas something in it. And he didn't need the bottle for the water. He needed the bottle because he needed to be able to use it to breathe into, to get just enough air to get out of that room. Because what gas was released from that tooth being pulled out was a pressurized gas that literally had some type of oxide in it that knocked Magyver completely out on the floor. And when I tell you that when he was knocked out on the floor, they had to come into the room with a pressure shot to shock his heart. Some of your God-ordained spouses, and some of these are just situations that are literally have gotten to a level of pressure, that the level of pressure or the level in the atmosphere has been so pressing that some of them fainted. He passed out. Some of them, it's the fact that there's a toxin in the atmosphere, because the enemy could not get your God-ordained spouse to collapse, so he had to knock him out. It's like, look, I'm gonna just knock you out. And God had to bring the resuscitation. God's hand had to come in there, because I believe it was the short woman that came in with the and she's the boss. So it's like she came in there with a needle and stabbed him in the chest, and he was like, ooh. God had to give them a resuscitation hit behind some of these situations that fell apart on them. Some of them needed to be resuscitated after that, because it was like, oh my God. And somebody was talking about some of your God-ordained spouses have been going through a lot. Stephanie P talked about they've been going through a lot, but it's another person that was having the point of saying that some of them are literally, the way that they process, they've been laid out. Some of your God-ordained spouses have been laid out behind the betrayal that was made, behind Satan trying to get this last hit in. That's what, and they were recuperating from that. But he had to recover quickly. Some of you God-ordained spouses have, God doing this, all of this had to happen in a quick mode. God left the trail of breadcrumbs throughout time in order to, by the time he fully revealed what was going on, they were able to put the pieces together so they weren't as badly affected as they would have been had it been a straight stripping. But it still knocked them down. And that, I believe, was the level of deliverance that your God-ordained spouse has previously been in during this resurrection Sunday and week and all that kind of stuff that happened previously. So the guy did what he did, and the alarms go off. These are the warning signs the season is over. And God brought me into the scripture I was looking at when I was looking for the scripture on Jesus' sacrifice. I found in one of the header titles in the Bible literally says sign of the end. These alarms are signs of the end of your season. No, for real, your season's ending this time. I mean it, for real. These alarms going off. The Father has been moved to a safe room. It's a safe place. Some of y'all conversation has been put into a safe place. Some of y'all, your God-ordained spouse had to go to a safe place in order for them to commiserate with God. This time period that knocked Magyver out, the things that happened to your God-ordained spouse knocked them out. So they needed to get in alone with God. So after these alarms going off, still constantly going off, some of y'all have seen it. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. There have been alarms that have been consistently going off around you. And they get more intense closer you get to a elevation moment. These alarms going off. But the enemy is convinced, I got you right where I want you. Because everybody on Magyver's team is in that building at this time. And they all go to the main headquarters room that they debrief in. And they've come to the realization, this is exactly what the guy wanted. Some of y'all are actually following the plan that Satan thinks is the right plan. He don't understand God already knew that this plan was never going to work. Because remember, go back to what I said from the movie Taken, that when it came down to it, what did the guy do? First, he gave them the instruction to move them. Second, he what? Positioned them. Third, they were taken. God already knew exactly every step Satan was going to take. Because what? He knows from the end to the beginning. He knew exactly what was going to happen. You didn't know. The people involved may not have known. But he knew. It's a positioning. What did I say in the other one? It's to make Satan or whoever it is that's performing the action feel secure in what they're doing. Their pride. Pride comes before what? A fall. So that they will expose their hand. It's like, this is happening. This is too... and they ain't even thinking about how easy this is. It's like, I got everybody where I need them to be. Yes. And they're just salivating at the mouth at the fact that this thing is working. Everything the guy desires to destroy in Magyver's life is all in one place. His father, his team, everything. He goes to the computer room. Now, this is interesting. Remember, you are technical support. So the first thing that Riley goes and does is runs to the computer room. All of our files, all of our storage is on the 4th floor. This is what he's after. Oh my God, let's go down there and make sure that we take care of that. Magyver and Riley end up stuck in that room. Catch this though. What does the name of the computer room is actually the Phoenix. What happens to the Phoenix? The Phoenix always rises from the ashes, does it not? And the room is on fire. I'm hearing that dumb little mantra. The roof is on fire. If you ain't got no water, something. I forgot what the way it ended. But yeah, it was on fire. And my coach was saying this yesterday. The biggest thing that comes against us as children of God in seasons like this is the fact that technology starts acting up. She was doing something on her computer and she couldn't for the life of her get that thing to operate in the way in which she needed it to do. She had to go and she had to sit with the Lord to say, God, I'm doing what you're asking me to do, but what is it that this ain't working? And he had to give her an alternative route. The route you think that is going to be the answer to get what you need is not going to be the route that you're going to take this time, nor in this season. God's about to shift that thing because he's about to reroute you to where he needs for you to be. It's going to be a shift to get you to where he needs you to go. So, I already just went over that. And this in itself is slightly poetic because of the fact that the chemical that is released from the computer is releasing the toxin that's killing them. So the enemy is really just trying to take everybody out. They're like, oh my God. And it really does look, it looks like they're goners. The father done fell out in the room that he was in. He took the coat and tried to cover his mouth, but he's still passed out. They're falling. They're trying to get out of that room. So he's trying to get out of there with Riley before the fire takes them out. And Riley and Bozer get out safely, but Magyver got to go back and get his father. And the girl that is his girlfriend in this, she's gone back to where the father was anyway. So they have to go and see if they can get the father out. Some of you have been in process of trying to protect something God's given you. God gave you something, and you've been frantically trying to protect that thing because it looks like it's under siege. You've been, come on, God, put this together. You've been trying to hold on to. The enemy has been threatening that thing, whether it's been your downloads, whether it's been your dreams, whether it's been something in relation to your relationship. The thing has been under threat. He's trying to take it all out right now. And you're like, God, I'm going to tell you this. The other day I was on my computer and it was something was going on with the system, and it was a simple notification. This is how simple the enemy is doing. It was a simple notification. Oh, you need to clean your cache. I said, oh. And I was in the middle of doing something. I said, let me just do that. I forgot that by cleaning my cache, I literally deleted every passcode, pass this, all that in the system. And guess what? I had to reset my passwords. I'm like, no. But God is still in the midst. Just like my coach, there's a way around what I think I lost. It's under attack. The thing God gave you is under attack. It may seem like you don't even have access to it right now. And you're like, God, you're telling me to do this, but... And God's saying, breathe, think. What did I tell you? Rationalize, understand. This isn't as bad as it looks. And it wasn't. So, Magyver is running after this guy. He managed to see, he went out a side door. God will give you the pathway. He went through the side door and saw the enemy going up. And he's like, let me chase after him. So he's chasing after him. Sometimes you have the knowledge. God is giving you the knowledge and the wisdom. And because you have the knowledge and the wisdom, you're like, I'm ready for you, enemy. I'm ready for you. I got you. I'm on your heels. And even yet and still, with the information that you have, you still can't catch him. The guy still got to the roof and got on a helicopter, and he was not able to catch him. He didn't catch him in that day. He wanted to, but he couldn't catch him. He had to go and take care of what he was supposed to. But remember, pride, Leviathan, Satan, because that's what Satan is. God takes him out, does he not? He takes a spike and goes through the under part of Leviathan's neck. And when he takes him out, don't let me get ahead of myself. So, with that being said, I'm not ahead of myself. We're right here. God's about to create a diversion. Let me say this. Magyver's father was gotten because there was somebody there. God will place the people that are necessary to help and assist in the places that you think, oh my God, the people that I care about, they may be. No, God's already got them under control, because the people that are going to help them out are in that position and in the vicinity to help them when they need it. The woman that was left behind, meaning his girlfriend, she knew that she needed to get the gas mask to the father or something like that. And they needed to get the pressurized door open. They couldn't get it. Was 4 inches of steel. They're like, you're not going to get that door open like that. She busted the keypad and then used a gas mask and an axe, and she cut the system. Meaning, whatever the enemy was using, God's going to have somebody that can cut through that. It looks like it's a big problem, but everybody's going to come out secure at the end of this scenario. You may have your losses, but the people that are intricate to the mission, they're going to come out. They're going to come out all right. Because God's going to have somebody to make sure that they come out all right. So with that being said, now it's time to take your enemies out. The Lord brought my attention back to Deani Nev's video. It's a wrap. And because it's a wrap, what the enemy thought he was going to do for evil is about to turn for your good. The last attack was the last attack. God is going to explode by overriding, just like the woman took the axe and cut the keypad, overriding the attack. It's not going to work. I'm hearing, or I heard while I was doing this, 2 days before, Prince's song 1999 came up. I've been seeing 999 every day. Now we know that that's an ending, right? But 1999 means a rush. It actually means something was rushed. Something attempted to take over a scenario. Your enemy, and Dr. Jolynn Whitaker always says this, the enemy thinks he's smart. And because he thinks he's smart, he comes out ahead. Thinking that he's won a scenario because he's arrogant. We already talked about this. And because of that, he shows his hand beforehand. So the enemy will rush because he thinks he ain't got no time. And he doesn't. He really doesn't. But in him doing that, it exposes himself. This is what he has done. In the song 1999, at the end of the song, you hear a little child saying, or something that's supposed to sound like a child, saying, "Mommy, why does everybody have a bomb? Mommy, why does everybody have a bomb?" God is preparing to blow this situation out the water. You're not even going to understand what God's about to do to solve this problem. I already mentioned the news clip in the previous part. That the news clip was of the woman who was in a town who